Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm back. This is kind of crazy. I'm trying to remember how to press all the buttons over here, but this is good practice for Boredom Busters. That's coming later tonight on KELOLAND Plus at 5:30, right after the 5 o'clock newscast, so make sure you check that out too. But anyway, this is Inside the Newsroom. We talk about trending stories in the KELOLAND area and also the Newsroom staff members who put these stories together. So you see a really unique perspective to the stories that we tell every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. So with that, let's get started right away with one of our first stories. Attorney General Marty Jackley says crime in South Dakota is down more than 6%. And that's according to a report released yesterday comparing data in 2025 to 2024. So Jordan DeSmit sat down with Jackley and gives us a breakdown of these numbers.
In 2024, there were more than 68,000 reported criminal offenses. That number dropped to over 64,000 in 2025.
And I think it tells us what we already know, that South Dakota is a safe place to raise a family. Our communities are safe.
Group A crimes, which are more serious and include homicides, sex offenses, and aggravated assaults, saw a nearly 8% decrease in 2025. Homicides themselves are down about 28%. Group B offenses, crimes such as DUI and disorderly conduct, are considered less serious. They dropped by a little more than 2%. In addition, total drug offenses decreased from nearly 6,800 in 2024 to more than 6,300 in 2025.
I attribute that to citizens that follow our laws. Law enforcement does a great job in some of the interdiction that we do. Also, I believe that securing that southern border has had an effect all over the country and here in South Dakota. The drug numbers were down about 6.25%, and I think that's a reflection on closing that southern border.
However, Jackley still recognizes how crucial it is to treat addiction.
I can't stress enough how important addressing addiction, having treatment available. We have some good opportunities in South Dakota. We've got, between Emily's Hope and some of the other faith-based programs, good work being done,
helping create a safer South Dakota.
And Jordan DeSmit joins us at the digital desk to talk more about this piece. Jordan, the standouts to me in this story were the decreased rates in homicides and total drug offenses. But what kind of data did you really have to break down for this story? And what were the standouts for you as you were going into your interview with Jackley?
I just thought I needed to make sure that I brought up numbers that I felt like were the most relevant to South Dakotans. And those were numbers that I brought up to Marty Jackley as well. I think a big thing that's been talked about in South Dakota is drug offenses. So I had to make sure that I mentioned that as well.
And I believe like a standout question to this whole story would be something like, what do these numbers mean for our communities in South Dakota? And Jackley gave you that answer, right?
He said, yeah, he says our communities are safe. And that doesn't mean that crime doesn't happen. But, I think if you just look at the numbers, yes, a 6% decrease, it's a good thing. And it's a sign that, I think our communities are becoming safer. Obviously, there's still a lot of crime going on, as you can see. It's still over 60,000 crimes reported in South Dakota. So there's probably work that needs to be done. And Jackley recognized that in the interview with me too. He's like, yes, I always want those numbers to decrease. But at the same time, he was happy, obviously, with that decrease this year.
Yeah. And, at the end of the story, Jackley mentioned that addressing addiction and having treatment available is crucial. So what led him to have this response? Like, how did that point come up in conversation?
I think he just wanted to make clear, like, yes, he's happy these drug offenses are getting lower and lower and lower, but that doesn't mean that we stop treating it. And that doesn't stop that shouldn't stop these nonprofits from making sure that they still have outreach and trying to help people overcome addiction.
And then what numbers are notably not included in this report?
Yeah, so any crimes that are on South Dakota tribal land, those were not included in the report. Those are simply because those numbers are reported to the FBI. So you need to keep that in mind. Obviously, there's a good amount of tribal land in South Dakota. Those numbers were not in the report.
So then at the end of the day, now that this story is published, completed, and viewers are watching and listening, reading, what do you hope viewers take away from this story?
I just hope they understand that, South Dakota is becoming safer if you just look by the numbers. But at the same time, there's still work that could be done. So I think we still as a community need to make sure that we ourselves are ensuring that we live in safe communities throughout the state.
Is there anything else that you'd like viewers to know about this story, Jordan?
No, I think you covered it, Matt.
I think you covered it. Well, thank you so much for being here at the digital desk and sharing some more details. But everyone watching, Stick around. We have more to come on Inside the Newsroom. We're just getting started. In fact, we're going to preview a story that's coming up tonight on KELOLAND News. It's about heart screening, and it is a follow-along. So stay with us. We're going to have more on Inside the Newsroom when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. With February being American Heart Month, Sanford's VP of Heart and Vascular, Bridget O'Brien Johnson, will be getting her own heart screening. And Summer Roddershot joined her at this heart screening this morning and will bring a full report tonight on KELOLAND News. But right now, let's talk about what we can expect for that story. But Summer, I want to ask you right off the bat, have you ever had a heart screening before? Like, did you know what to expect this morning?
I really didn't. And part of the reason why I haven't had a heart screening is because they do recommend that starting at age 40. So you and I, we're in the clear. We don't
I was going to say, because I was like, I have never had one.
Nope.
So
Nope, I haven't either. But I didn't really know what to expect because, you know, it's a heart screening. So I don't know how closely they're looking at it. And honestly, it was a lot easier than I anticipated it to be. I thought it was going to be this complicated process, but it actually looked super easy from where I was sitting.
like the actual screening part, like what the doctors were doing and stuff was easy?
Like half of what they do is literally just asking you questions about like your lifestyle, you know, like different things like that so that they can assess if you're living like a healthy lifestyle and if it's like healthy for your heart essentially. So that was part of it. Obviously, there were things like doctor things that they actually did, but you know, it was easier than I anticipated.
Okay. Well, what was the atmosphere like when you were there then? Like, what was going on around the room that you were seeing?
Sure. So, I mean, so we went in, and Bridget O'Brien Johnson, she was super cool. She talked with the doctor, like I said, about the different things in her lifestyle, and then they did an EKG, which we were not in the room for because privacy reasons. Yeah. And then we went to another room where they did put her into this machine so that they could do these scans and stuff. And like I said, it wasn't scary or it was like super chill. Like if I were to describe a heart screening, having not gotten one, but just watching somebody go, and it was super chill.
That kind of sounds like this is going to be like the theme of the story, right? How easy it might be or simpler than people might expect. But now as you're writing this story and putting it together for tonight on our newscasts, what elements do you want to highlight the most?
Yeah, so, and it's funny you mentioned that because one of the things I did say in my story is, and lucky for her, it is easy to get screened. So we obviously talk about the easiness of it, and then also why it's just important at a certain age in life. You know, she'll talk about, you know, where she's at in life and just the importance of it. But really, it's about being proactive instead of reactive. You know, catching a lot of these things ahead of time, which is really important, so that you don't have to have a massive cardiac event or anything like that. So it really is just preventative care. And like I said, it's so easy, but the opposite outcome is if you don't get screened and you're not aware of these things, like I said, you could have a major cardiac event, which you don't want to do. So it's like a couple hour in the hospital, or like I said, worse consequences.
So with this being, what is it, American Heart Month, what do you think makes this story so important to tell right now?
I think, you know, it was funny. We walked into the hospital and they still had all these Valentine's Day decorations of all these hearts and stuff. And I'm like, oh, they haven't taken out their decorations yet. And they're like, no, it's Heart Month. And I'm like, oh, duh. So that's why they still have all of these hearts up. But I think the importance of it is just highlighting it, you know, like I said, I think it's funny that it coincides with Valentine's Day because they can leave up all the same decorations, but then also letting people know, okay, this is happening this month, and Sanford is actually for heart screenings is only $25 this month. So just $25 to go in and get your heart screened, and like I said, avoid possibly worse outcomes in the end. I think is what Sanford's goal is.
I think really previewed this story pretty well, but is there anything else that you think our viewers should be ready to expect for tonight's story?
Yeah, so actually the Center for Screening for Sanford is actually moved. So I'm actually going to open up the story talking about the big move that they have, because they think that this move is going to make it easier for people to get in and out also for those screenings. So it's going to be easy on the inside and getting there. So.
Well, Summer, thank you so much for previewing your story tonight. Everyone, be sure to watch our KELOLAND newscast so you can see this story. But if you miss it on a newscast tonight, that's okay. It's always on KELOLAND.com, so you can watch it at your own convenience. Speaking about looking at stories at your own convenience, we're going to talk about an Eye on KELOLAND story that aired last night. We're taking indoor football by storm. Find out what that means with our reporter, Travis Fossing, when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Todd Tryon's rise to prominence in the world of indoor football has been a decades-long journey. The Sioux Falls resident got his start as a player, then a coach, owner, and now commissioner of the Indoor Football League. In a recent Eye on KELOLAND story, Travis Fossing showed us Tryon's journey. And Travis, when you watched this story, we really learned that Tryon is an advocate for indoor football. And that comes from his range of roles, from coaching to owning the Sioux Falls Storm. So for you, why did you want to dedicate your eye time to him and all the elements in this story?
Well, I think most recently is a big deal in the IFL. They've added some television partners to broadcast all the games throughout the course of the entire season. And we just knew he was doing big things with the Indoor Football League, and thought, well, let's do a feature on him, and decided to let's take it all the way back to where it all started, and thought, okay, this is worthy of an Eye on KELOLAND.
And we have to talk about your headline. I mean, you're pretty smart with this, taking indoor football by storm.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with this? Let's talk about it.
Well, of course, his ties to the Sioux Falls Storm, and just the way that things are progressing with the league now as the owner, or not the owner, but the commissioner of the league.
Yep.
But yeah, during his time as the owner of the Storm and as a coach and as a player, he made things happen at every level and taking it by storm.
I know Eye on KELOLAND stories include so much content, but was there anything that wasn't included in the story that you think our viewers should know?
You know, I think we really did cover all the bases. You know, we started with kind of his secondary job there, working with the performance clinic and just some of the things that go on there. And then we talked about his playing days coming from Buena Vista over in Storm Lake and coming to Sioux Falls and seeing, oh, hey, there's going to be an indoor football team I should try out. And makes a team, plays for a few years, then he coaches, and then he buys the team. And so it really just kind of a step-by-step progression. And really do think we covered all the bases with this one.
So then give me the spoilers then for someone who hasn't watched this Eye yet. Why is it so important to have indoor football here in Sioux Falls?
Well, we don't have indoor football. That's kind of the biggest thing right now. He had the team and then sold the team. And then a few years ago, they went into dormancy because they couldn't come up with a deal with the Premier Center. So right now, that's part of the story as well. The fact that he's the commissioner of the IFL in Sioux Falls, and right now Sioux Falls does not have a team. Since he took over the league, they've gone from 8 to 14 teams, and their goal is to get to 24. But right now, the Storm and Sioux Falls, not one of them.
So then what's next for the Indoor Football League? Like, what should our viewers keep an eye on?
Well, one of the neat things that they're doing this year is they're doing kind of an in-season tournament. It's going to be held at a sports complex that is really similar to the Mall of America out in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's this big mall setting. It's got a water park in it, and it's a sports complex as well. So they're going to have this in-season tournament where they're going to have 4 teams playing a couple of games the first weekend, and then a week later they'll play a championship. So something new for the league. But again, they've got this FanDuel Sports Network and then Yahoo Sports that are broadcasting all the games this year. So very easily accessible, and the league really just continues to grow.
Right. So what's your biggest takeaway after creating a story like this?
That Todd is a very busy guy. He says he's dealing with teams on the East Coast who are an hour ahead very early in the morning, fielding calls at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning from them. But then he's also working into the evening, 7, 8 p.m., because he's dealing with teams out on the West Coast. And that's what you have when you have teams from Arizona to Massachusetts and all points in between with the Indoor Football League.
Right. Is there anything else that you'd like our viewers to know about this story, Travis?
Indoor football is a lot of fun. If you get a chance to check it out, do it. It's just a 50-yard fight, basically. You just have a lot less room to roam and a lot more action and people banging into walls and a lot of points scored. So if you haven't given it a try, check it out and you might like it.
Travis, thank you so much for sharing details here at the Digital Desk. And everyone, this story aired on Thursday night on our KELOLAND newscast, and it's posted now on our website, KELOLAND.com. So you can go ahead and watch this Eye on KELOLAND story at your leisure and own convenience. And it is called Taking Indoor Football by Storm. So find that story by Travis Fossing if you'd like to see it. But stick around for more on Inside the Newsroom, because up next, I'm confronting Scot Munt. We have something to talk about for something he did to me on the newscast recently on Midday. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. We're going to wrap it up, but hey, Scott.
Wrap it up. Am I the last segment?
This is the last segment of Inside the Newsroom for Friday.
I hope you have, 15 minutes left to
You wish.
fill?
I have like 5 or 6, 7.
5, 6, 7.
Anyway, I have something to confront you on, Scot
Oh,
Munt.
boy.
Yes.
What did I do now?
Well, nothing. It's all with hearts and sparkles, okay? All good things.
I was going to say, I made it through Friday. I didn't get any emails saying I need to go to the office or go to HR.
I should have brought you to the Digital Desk. Say,
So-
Scot Munt, please report here.
Man, I thought I made it through the week and I was okay.
I have video proof of what you have done. Here it is. Scott, sadly, we have to end the show, but give me some happy news.
Well, I'll be back Thursday, Friday for midday.
That's the best
How about
news
that?
yet.
I'm very interested to see if I could get some thunderstorms to go on my birthday today.
Today's your birthday?
Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
that was Tuesday.
this was Tuesday. Can I zoom in on this? Hold on.
And that's why I didn't say anything.
He wanted to surprise me so bad for his birthday on Tuesday. And the thing is, I don't know if I actually have you added on social media on most things. I have Melanie, but like I didn't see your birthday
I don't have my
pop
birthday
up.
listed on there.
Yeah, and
But
so like
Melanie,
I had no idea.
I think, Melanie put out the happy birthday to my hubby.
But she did it in the later part of the day. So this was definitely before midday. And so I got surprised by Scot Munt, and I should have known. I feel so bad. So at the end of the newscast, I made sure to give a really big shout out to Scot Munt for his birthday and everyone's birthdays that were on Tuesday.
And remember, we had a tour group in there.
We did. We had little. Oh, that's a great story. Okay, so we did have third graders who came in from, what school was it? Was it Lutheran? Sioux Falls Lutheran?
Yes.
And they were there, and it was a bunch of little kids. They behaved so well during the newscast.
And great questions, too.
Yeah, they had great questions about my nails and how Scot Munt does the weather. They asked me, why are you so serious? That was really
that's
fun.
right.
Yeah, that was like my big question. And I was like, you think I'm serious? Anyway, so at the end of the newscast, they were asking questions and they were talking about how it was Scot Munt's birthday. And so everyone started singing to Scott. They sang happy birthday and all these little kids. I was so happy. I think Paul Farmer took a video too, so we're going to have to get that video proof from him about that. That was the sweetest thing. We had kids come yesterday too on Thursday, and they also behaved really well. Their favorite part is always at the end of the tour where they get to go up to the weather wall.
Up to the green screen.
And the kids that are wearing green that day get the most excited because they think they're going to like blend out or whatever. How would you say it? They'd be more transparent or something like that in the background. So they're like, oh, here we go. Let's see if it works. And it's just like, sometimes it does work. It's really funny. And I don't know. It's really fun with the tours. That's the first time I've had a tour or a live audience during a newscast.
Oh, really?
Other than like maybe my family sitting in, but it would just be one person, not like a whole group.
Now, did the nerves reach a different level because of the live audience?
I don't think so. I think it was easier because there were kids. I mean, there were some adults in the room too, obviously.
Well, yeah,
but
they had some chaperones with them.
But the kids just behaved so well. So it's like I kind of forgot that they were there in a way. Like I could really focus on just doing my job as it was happening. But
As you should. Hey, nice blue today.
You like this?
Yeah.
I said yesterday during the newscast, because you were wearing like a pink purple. You were matching the radar is what I said, because it was a bunch of like pinks and purples. And I said, Scott, I got to match you, because I was wearing like red or something like that.
I don't remember.
And I know you wear blue like every day.
Except yesterday. Yesterday was more gray.
Every day this week,
the
except
tie had
yesterday.
the tie had a little bit of pink in it.
It did. It looked nice.
But it
And I
looked
was like,
different on air, didn't it? Because you mentioned it.
yeah, it
was
looked a little
matching.
purple or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it
and
really
I was
wasn't-
like, oh,
Maybe it was the way the light was hitting it.
something like that.
But-
And maybe I was just squinting a little too hard at it or
So he
something.
told me to wear
see.
blue.
I did. No,
And-
I said I assumed you'd wear blue. And look at you, you are. That's why I was ready with my blue today. You know, yesterday was actually fun for another reason. So I don't know if you know this, Scott. I didn't tell you this until now. But if you watched Weather or Not yesterday, specifically during the second block of the show, you may have noticed
You're
something
trying to
really
get
fun.
me into the office, aren't you?
Just the digital desk office. I just have fun
What'd you
stories
find
to
now?
share. Well, I was watching Whether or Not before it aired and just giving you like second eyes or whatever. And I went to our newsroom staff meeting where we pitch story ideas and assign it to reporters and just talk about what's going on in the area. And during our meetings, we have KELOLAND Plus like sitting up above us as like a different TV monitor, right? And so it comes to the second part of Whether or Not, and you're teasing to what's coming up next, and it's Brian Karsten's joining you.
Yep.
And I think it's over here. Yeah. And so I noticed everyone kind of, just a couple people start like laughing. They're like to themselves as they're looking up at the TV. And I already know, I'm like, oh, I know what just happened. And so everyone's like, what? And then we look. And it's because we had a head of Brian Carson's on Whether or Not.
Now they were seeing what's in the monitor there.
Yes, right
with
down there,
That split
yes.
screen of myself, and there's, Brian's head. It looks like he has a great tan, doesn't it?
It's rocking it. I'm kind of jealous because I've been
Yeah.
saying I'm way too pale right now.
Figure out how he gets that.
But we found this ahead because Scott and I are doing, I'm grabbing it right now. Scott and I have been doing midday together pretty much almost every day.
Yeah,
We found
isn't that
Brian
great?
Carson's. And so I just brought it to the
You should take it. You should take your camera full
mine. Oh, that's a good idea.
and then hold it in front of your. There you go.
Oh, it says Joey Taylor. That's okay. She had to run away for Inside the Newsroom today, but here we go. All right, that's enough of that. We got to wrap this up, Scott.
Okay. See, I told you I need 15 minutes.
I understand this. I will remember this next time I do Inside the Newsroom. Joey Taylor will be back next week to continue hosting Inside the Newsroom, but you can watch Scott and I come back for Boredom Busters tonight at 5:30.
Boredom Busters. All right.
Only on KELOLAND Plus. What else we have? We have Whether or Not that's on demand now on the KELOLAND Plus app. Am I missing anything? In session,
and I'll
live
be-
at 3.
Yeah, and I'll be on midday again next week.
Same.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching Inside the Newsroom. Until next time, have a great day, everyone. Let's do it, Scott.
The way.
The way.